This is Winging It, the somewhat whimsical, certainly whirring, decidedly wonky, seldom weighty, endlessly well-intentioned, and wildly witty show about music where one knows what's coming and the other doesn't. This happens in between both proper to ensure you can spend anywhere from 15 to 180 minutes with us every week. So, what are we talking about this time? Well, I'm glad you asked. You didn't, but you indicated interest.
I know. I only would have done so just now because that's the cool thing about the show is the showrunner has decreed that there's no preparation for it.
Indeed.
You know, and well, she is a realist. She knows I wouldn't do it anyway. So
true, right.
That's the beauty of the show. But I would really appreciate it if you could write in and tell Christina I'm going to sound a little bit scratchier tonight because I have these lovely menthol eucalyptus cough drops. And Christina has this, I don't know, this unfounded belief that you can hear them on the show, me clicking and slurping as she claims. Please write to her and tell her you do not hear me clicking and slurping so I can get back to sucking on my cough drops during the show. Okay. We are ready. If the last outburst has stopped and if everybody's in...
yes, your outburst, absolutely.
If everybody's in airplane mode and everybody's in compliance here, okay, let's do it.
Well, anyway, now with that strange aside, which I like, what are we going to talk about today? This is the question of the hour, the question of the day, the question of the year, maybe, perhaps, depending. But today, courtesy of whatculture.com, we are going to be talking about perfect rock songs that divided the bands.
Oh.
So it's interesting because we're not doing the exhaustive list that I found. We're going to do just a little smattering, just a few, because we just don't have that level of time. It's supposed to be a short show. Okay?
It's supposed to be a short show.
So, wonder if this will surprise you. So, I don't know what you may or may not have heard, but this is interesting. And some of them are songs we know very well. Some are going to be songs you don't necessarily love or that I don't necessarily love, but interesting nevertheless. So, Kiss's Beth.
Huh.
If you're catering strictly to the rock audience, showing you have a soft side couldn't get much better, obviously, than this track. The only problem was the band was pissed to even go through with it. Producer Bob Ezrin's idea to make the song a full orchestral arrangement went about as well as you think it would for this band, right? They're like, please. This is a band that was known to don demonic faces, their little demonic face paint every time they took to the stage. So they weren't convinced of its potential, deciding to just release it as a B-side too.
Wow. What was Beth the B-side of?
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know, believe it or not.
Wow, that's crazy. Detroit Rock City.
Oh, I was going to say that, but it's too obvious. Yeah.
The Catman, missing his girl back home, had just enough strange charm to it to become one of the biggest songs of the band's entire career. It may not have had balls to the wall sort of appeal, but you can imagine that those royalty checks did not hurt either. Are you surprised by this? The band hated this song.
No, I didn't know. I know it's their biggest song. I didn't know they hated it, or no.
They just didn't think it was going to work.
Well, I can understand their reluctance, but I mean, I thought they liked Peter Criss did write it after all, or co-write it anyway. So that remains a fan favorite. And I remember we were so impressed. It was like, wow, look at this new direction for Kiss, after the 3 albums and then Kiss Live, and then they come up with Destroyer. Bob Ezrin puts a whole new face on them, and so it was really amazing. And Beth, yeah, and it's still a concert favorite. In fact, Eric Singer, who's currently the drummer of Kiss, who also played with Alice Cooper and Black Sabbath, wears the cat makeup now, and he plays, unlike Peter Criss, he actually plays the grand piano on stage and sings the song today. So it's still a fan favorite, all these, 40 years later or something. So, no, that doesn't... It surprises me that they didn't believe in it at first. I thought they were dying to go in that direction. But see, even I learned something about a lifelong fave.
No, they thought it was fine when they heard the demo, but for whatever reason, then poor Bob said, I'm up in the ante. Let's put some orchestra behind it. And they were like, oh, fuck no. Do you know who we are?
Yeah. I remember one of them, I think it was Gene Simmons' quote, saying, we are not traveling around with some hair lip orchestra. Okay?
And yet,
what is Kiss Alive for? It's with an orchestra.
That's right. Exactly. So, he's learned. Well, this is one that I really, really love. People hate it. Maybe it's because of saturation, but I love it. Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine.
Ah, yeah.
Now, when you're one of the greatest riff crafters of all time, like Slash is, you're going to have some songs you like playing more than others, and we know all bands have a love-hate relationship with some of their hits, right?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. So a song that you hated from the moment you played it became a classic. Imagine that. So he, being Slash, never wanted to make Sweet Child of Mine riff into a song in the first place. So Axl Rose's bedroom was right above the rehearsal space, and Slash was surprised to find that the singer came downstairs complete with most of the lyrics to the song intact, having written them as a love letter to his girlfriend at the time. Now, when he heard Slash jamming, that's what he heard, and he wrote a song.
And Slash wasn't even trying to do a song.
No.
I was embarrassed myself to learn, this was on an earlier Winging It, that there was a multiple choice of which band hit song was written as off of a string skipping exercise.
Yes.
And I didn't guess Sweet Child of Mine. What the hell's wrong with me?
Exactly.
But yeah, it is exactly that. It's a string skipper.
Yep.
And a lot of songs like Paul McCartney, it was Martha My Dear was
Yes.
one that he used to just practice on the piano with, you know.
Right.
And Slash wasn't even making it a song, and Axl saw something great in there, and what a masterpiece they came up with.
Yep. Although Slash was able to sprinkle in some fireworks toward the end of the song, he still never really liked it, didn't click with him, and he performs it out of necessity.
Wow.
That's brutal, because I still to this day, as many times as I've heard that fucking song, I love it.
You know, he gets to go off so many times on that song. It's
He
hard to believe he
does.
doesn't love that, you know.
He does. I know. I don't
When
know.
there's no singing, when Axl shuts his pie hole, when he just gets the jam, I mean, he's got to dig those. Those are some wicked leads on that song.
Yeah, apparently he doesn't.
Wow.
He just plays it out of necessity. Now, that's the question, too, of the day. Would you rather them not play the song because they really don't want to play it, or would you rather them play it and hate it? That's tough.
I actually like going with if the band changes their mind. For example, like everybody's shook that the Stones dropped Brown Sugar from the tour, and it's just like they've been doing that thing for 40 years or something like that. Come
Right.
on, you know. I don't mind that at all if they don't do the absolute. It's a little weird. The only thing that I object to on a concert is if they play a whole shitload of songs that haven't been released yet. That's not cool, you know. But as long
Hey,
as
they have
they're-
a captive audience.
you know, it's true. I saw the Hollywood Vampires a few weeks before their album came out, and they played half the album. It was just like, wow. It's like I don't even know this shit yet, you know, except for the one song.
Now you do.
But now I do. But it was great anyway. And I would rather them not play a song they're not into. No.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
how it would suck, especially now to know that. Go see Guns N' Roses.
I mean, they'd be faking it. You know?
You're right. And you're like, oh, he's dialing this shit right on in. All right, so the next song, interesting, is Tom Petty's Free Fallin'. When Tom was first starting to put together the final track list with Jeff Lynne
Yeah.
and Mike Campbell, bassist Howie Epstein was asked to come play bass on a handful of tracks on the album, sure. And after having to sit on his hands for majority of the session, he finally got the guts to say he didn't like the song. And he was asked to play, and he decided to leave shortly thereafter. Now, tough luck for him,
Wow.
considering that the song would go on to be one of the biggest songs of Tom Petty's career and launched him back into the stratosphere again. So
It was a huge hit. I mean, I personally lean towards other stuff like Running Down a Dream and stuff like that. But I mean, Free Fallin', you know, it at least kind of deserves to be as popular as it is.
I like Tom Petty. I'm using like on purpose.
Yeah.
I love this song.
Really?
I love this song. Now, again,
I'd rather go the other way around. I love Tom Petty, but I like this song.
yeah. So, okay, fair enough. I don't love the vocals. I'm not a Tom Petty vocalist fan, but I really love this song. I've heard it too many times now, but I
think
still
the
do love
world
it.
has heard it too many
Yeah.
times, you know.
It's a little sing-songy. She's a good
Yeah,
girl, you know. But the first few times I heard it, I love the chorus. It's rousing. It kind of anthemic, you know,
Yeah.
for me. But yeah, so, you know, you asked to play bass on a song. Should you shut up and play bass, or should you, you know, voice your discontent?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you just shut up and play the bass? You don't
Shut up
have
and
to
play
like
it.
the song, you know.
Yeah, I didn't ask you.
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyway, it caused problems, but it doesn't say. And I would be interested to know whether or not. I guess he didn't play on it because he left, and so he wasn't part of it, so he didn't
Wow.
get anything. So, you know, you live and you learn. Here's one that might surprise you. Queen, Don't Stop Me Now.
Really?
Yes. Well, on the surface, it may be one of the most fun-filled Queen songs in their catalog. I freaking love this song.
Master. Brilliant song. Brilliant song.
Having one of the greatest drum tracks in their catalog and an absolute powerhouse performance from Freddie Mercury, it turns out that the only person not jazzed about it was Brian May.
Really?
He was quick to discount the song, saying that it wasn't really indicative of the Queen sound. Now, what the hell is the Queen sound?
Yeah.
It's all over the place. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess
it wasn't indicative of the Queen sound of Queen 2.
Right, maybe not.
By
Yeah.
then, it had most certainly become part of the Queen sound.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In his mind, this is where Freddie was starting to spiral, and having a song all about excess wasn't sitting well with him.
Yeah.
So I get it. You're like, okay, so we have this big hit with this song about just completely fucking off and going out of your head, and my friend, as he's saying it, is suffering, is going into this dark place. Leave it to Brian May to talk trash on one of his band's signature tracks, and yet still come out looking like a diplomatic person at the end of it. Of course, because he's elder statesman.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting. I mean, the comment about, hey, this is not a Queen sound, but I wonder if it didn't have more to do with his just concern for his friend. But maybe it wasn't in his mind the sound that Queen should be going for. But then you could say that about so many of their tracks on so many of their albums.
Yeah, by the time the Jazz album had come out, we had been totally used to off the rails
Absolutely.
camp, where Don't Stop Me Now is downright conservative by comparison.
It is.
That's
a
normal
agree.
song compared to the directions they go in, and even farther off the rails than that on the future albums.
Yes.
And that's what was so fascinating about Queen.
So imagine those discussions between, the bandmates about this song is not a song that we should be doing. And Freddie's like, yeah. And he's like, no. And he's like, yeah. I mean,
Brian May, with all due respect, you wrote the band's lamest song in Tie Your Mother Down, so just be quiet, okay?
I love that song.
I mean, it's fair.
I love that song.
Now, what's funny? The last two acts you mentioned, or two of the last three, it just came up today. Some random rock page on Instagram, it said Slash, or it showed Slash and Brian May playing together, and it said Slash or Brian May. And it's just like, I don't even have to think about that one.
Come on.
And almost everybody was Slash. And there were
Brian
a handful
May.
of people like, totally
What are you
Brian
talking
May.
about? It's
Oh,
Brian
yeah.
May. Come
Brian
on.
May.
What do you...
All day long.
Are you deaf? I mean, I don't...
Number 3 GOAT.
I'm very concerned if you're saying Slash. Not that Slash isn't great. I'm not saying that.
He's great. Yeah.
I'm just saying, if it's Slash or Brian May, see you later, Slash. Get in the boot. So here's one. In My Life, The Beatles. This one divided the band, but it's an interesting reason why this one divided the band. So, being one of the most celebrated songs in the group's catalog, most of the disagreements are about credit.
Wow.
Who wrote this song? They can't decide who wrote what. We know this is an age-old problem. Although John Lennon had mentioned time and again that this was his song through and through, Macca claims that what John came in with was a sketch and that he had started to finish it up by the time it was actually recorded. So even still, there still doesn't seem to be any clear answer as to who actually wrote the section. Which section? Sorry, not the section. Which, since most of the archives are just run-throughs of the songs, as we know, then again, that's the beauty that's the beauty that comes with the Beatles songwriting. Sometimes you end up with, writing something so good that, that both of you want to have credit for it or take sole credit for it. You're not wanting to share credit. So this one's still apparently still up in the air as far as who wrote the song, and that caused major issues in the band.
As long as none of them were mutants who actually didn't like the song.
That would be a real problem.
That would be a problem. They would be cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers in that case.
But you could say that the Beatles could be that?
If they didn't like that song?
Okay,
yeah, I think that's criminal enough.
Oh, wow.
I've personally always attributed it to Lennon. And it's
you have a penchant for him, so that concerns me.
It just sounds like something he would come up with.
I think it's the other way. It's so interesting. I really did. I thought, oh no, this is a McCartney song.
Yeah, McCartney gets this sentimental, obviously, but for some reason, I always kind of now you got me thinking about it and
right?
how much of a McCartney song it is. But I had always blindly accepted that it was just a Lennon song.
Well, he wants you to blindly accept it as well,
and so I have
until now.
Yeah.
Until
until my whole world was shaken,
till some doubt was added. All right, so now this one is probably not going to shock you, but Fleetwood Mac's Go Your Own Way. So obviously, nearly half the tracks on that album could be on this list, right?
Yeah.
This entire album revolves around the fallout that was happening with the romantic relationships in the band. Not everyone was getting along or doing great. So the saltiest one, I think we can all agree, is Go Your Own Way. It's pretty bad. The song is nothing but Lindsay talking trash about how Stevie is being standoffish and she was never really in love with him. And of course she gets her say with Dreams, but having to sing backup on this song every night probably didn't create any olive branch moments.
Yeah, it was quite a dynamic in that band, but great song. I mean, honestly, the personal conflicts, really don't care all that much. Even if they totally faked it, if everything was harmonious, you come up with a song that great, that's all I ask, is that you entertain me. I don't care about how genuine it is.
But that doesn't, you just totally contradicted yourself.
No.
Because we said if the band isn't feeling it, they shouldn't play it anymore. So she doesn't want to play it, she's not feeling it, but she's doing it. So she's dialing it in, isn't she?
Oh, actually performing the song.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I mean, it was a monster hit, but I mean, imagine you have to you break up with somebody and you go out every night and sing backup on a song that's like, "You're a bitch, you suck. Why don't we just go our own way? Fuck you." I mean, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. And she's like, "Go your own way." She's like, "Fuck," the whole time. So that's brutal. That's some getting even at a whole different level, I think. All right, the final song we're going to talk about today is Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin.
What?
Led Zeppelin's 8-minute epic feels more like we're being taken on a journey with the song rather than an actual piece of rock and roll, some might say. On the other hand, though, it turns out that Robert Plant has heard better. Plant was never eager to revisit Stairway, saying that he has started to distance himself from the song once touring for the album had wrapped, which we kind of know he has a love-hate relationship. And as he grows older, he has seemed to grow even more bitter toward his masterpiece, saying that he would break out in hives if he ever had to perform it again. Plant has said that he's had a lot of fun writing it, saying that the lyrics were practically writing themselves by the time he had gotten the finished piece of music from Jimmy Page. Now, that's great, but imagine this is your monster hit, and it's the song you want to distance yourself from most that you wrote. So it certainly caused, obviously, some strife in the band because even if they had, let's say they had theoretically reunited, he wouldn't have wanted to do this song live, which is their biggest song, arguably.
Right.
So how weird would that have been? I mean, he still publicly says horrible things about this song, and then he would break out in hives. Again, it's that whole, I don't want to perform that song anymore. I'm tired of performing the song, but...
And I would totally understand if they didn't. I mean, they drop songs. Bands do drop songs, and fans may not like it, but I understand. If you don't want to play... The Who doesn't do My Generation anymore.
Thank God.
They do an acoustic... None of the whole big epic of it. They do an acoustic Won't Get Fooled Again, Just Townsend and Daltrey, and it's fine. So it's not like they have to do anything. And Zeppelin used to always be forced to close with Stairway, and now they just throw it in the set, several songs before the end. But they dropped songs. They didn't, in 1977, they didn't do Dazed and Confused at all. They just dropped Dazed and Confused completely. And, it was all right. Okay, yeah, they did Stairway, sure, but I don't want anybody to do a song they hate. I can't imagine why he would hate a great song like that. Although he has said that someone said something about blah, 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 Stairway, your definitive song, and he said it's not. Kashmir is. Kashmir is the song that Robert Plant identifies as the definitive Led Zeppelin song. I didn't know he was tired of Stairway, though. It's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so hard because I'm just telling you, and I've told you this before, so our audience is rolling their eyes with the repetition, but if I go to a concert and I've been listening to you my whole life, I'm going to want to hear the fucking hits. I am. I have an expectation. I do. And I'm okay if you throw in some new shit that I've never heard as long as you play my old fucking favorites.
I'll go as far as to say, okay, if you're going to play a song like a favorite, a fan favorite and everything, even if either you totally reinvent it and do it a different way, like Page and Plant were doing this, world music version of a lot of this stuff. If you're going to do something weird like that or do an acoustic version of Won't Get Fooled Again, that's fine. But don't do it the regular way and totally adulterate the melody and just, tear the melody to pieces and don't even sing it, though anything like it's supposed to be. That is painful to listen to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them to... You're right. I wouldn't want them to do that. I also don't like the rearranging of the fucking song. I've learned the song. I've grown up with the song. I've listened to it 700 times, and now you're going to fuck up my song. I want to hear it.
I know you would make an exception for Queen's... full band version of We Will Rock You.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's an exception. And that wasn't that a kick-ass moment in the concert?
Oh, my God.
The concert starts up. It's 1977-8, folks. Concert starts up, and they're and you have all their albums, and they're playing a song you don't know. And
I
you're
can't
like,
even.
Oh, holy shit, is this?
Absolutely.
And it's the live We Will Rock You from
Good
Live
Lord.
Killers. That was the tour that I saw. And
Whatever.
you have no idea what's going on until Freddie Mercury says, "Buddy, you're a boy," and you go, "Holy shit! This is a full band version of We Will Rock You," and it totally wails. Yeah, I don't mind a little playing around now and then, I gotta say.
But again, if I kind of like that whole like I don't know, going to the acoustic version. I'm okay with that, but could you start it acoustic and then finish it the way that it was written? Just help a bitch out here, because I am trying to hear this live. I've come here to hear my favorites with you, to be in your energy, to hear it, and you don't play it. I wait the whole time. And that's like, again, going to a Queen show, not hearing We Will Rock You. I would protest.
Protest. I'd write them a letter. Give them a piece of my mind.
It would be strongly worded.
I might even go to social media about this. That'll
That's
show
right.
them.
That'll show them. I will never come to your concert again unless you play We Will Rock You. It just, I don't know. I get it, but I keep thinking, one of the things that I think, and again, I'm not a band who's been playing the same songs for 30 years. Some 23.
There you go.
But I can't, these are my babies, right? These are our babies. And of course, I love some more than others, but I can't imagine going, I never want to play In Summation again. I never want to play The Abduction of Jane Doe again. And we played it hundreds of times now. I don't even know how many. I love that song.
Well, that's true.
It's just interesting. I can't imagine hating it. Now, are there songs? I will never tell anyone. Are there some songs that I'm like,
now the other shoe drops.
that I'm like, okay, I love this song, but not as much as I love this song.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I have that where I'm like, oh God, I can't wait to sing this song, but I'm not going to refuse to sing it. And if, let's say, In Summation was our breakout hit, #1 hit, and in 20 years, am I still going to play In Summation? Hell yeah, I'm going to play it, because you motherfuckers start loving me for that song. I owe it to you when you come and pay to see me.
That means you have to do Divergence for me.
Of course, of course.
No, you don't. You got a whole album full of songs.
Anytime you are in the audience, it'll be like, is David Moore in the audience? And you'll be backstage. So I'll be like, no, he's backstage. And this is for you.
It's just too bad the folks won't hear about this before your show.
That's true. That's true. Exactly. That's true. It's sad. But as of the airing...
I'm sure you'll make them abundantly aware of it on social media.
I have already, actually.
I doubted it not.
No, you could not. So that's kind of the end of it. But very interesting, to hear that some of the biggest hits really kind of caused some strife in the band, or caused some, I guess, stress or strain, even on one person, but sometimes the entire band. So very weird.
It is. Some even ones that people love. For example, Kiss. Gene Simmons hates doing the do-do-do-do-do-do-do's of "I Was Made for Loving You." It's just one of those things. It's why does that part got to be there?
Yeah, I wish it wasn't there too.
But, yeah. If you hate a song, you cannot perform it. It's okay. With me, at least,
I do like that song, though. Yeah. That's the one.
See? Oh, there are many more. I know you would.
Whatever.
We'll converge you someday. It was good to have Tom Enroth of the Secret Weasels on there saying, there's actually some good Kiss out there, folks.
On what?
Creatures of the Night, he said, was even Kiss skeptical would like it.
So you just pulled that out of the ether, and they don't know what you're referring to.
We were talking about Kiss.
Right, but where was Tom?
Oh, that was on the... Oh, well, they don't need to know that context necessarily, but it was on the special live birthday, or live premiere show, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that on Winging It, I think.
Well, on Birds, anyway.
I mean, on Birds, sorry, Birds. I get the show names mixed up, but I usually appear on all of them somewhere. I don't know. Do I really have to know what they're called?
I've got that covered.
Probably not,
I got that covered.
All right.
All right. Well, on that note, I guess that only leaves for you to say,
let's fly this coop.
This has been Birds of a Feather on What the Flock Radio.